Just the team's very excited to play a regional this weekend at the Dish, and we're looking forward to the competition. We're looking forward to a great fan base, and we're just looking forward to going out there and playing clean and having some fun.
Great. Thank you, Coach. We'll start with Danny Davis.
David, have you settled on a pitching rotation that you'd like to announce?
Yeah.
Would you like to announce it?
Oh, you want to know?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Tristan's going to pitch.
And then, from what you've seen so far with Southern, what has been kind of your initial impression of this team?
They're athletic. They have some kids that can really swing the bat well. I think their pitching numbers for a handful of guys are better than, I think their ability to pitch is better than some of their numbers. And I think they'll come in confident with nothing to lose. And we'll go out there and approach them like a regional team and expect a dogfight.
Eric Olson, go ahead.
Yeah, David, Eric Olson with the Associated Press up in Omaha. Kind of a big picture question. Coming into the year, there was a lot of thought that because the draft is so much shorter and the pandemic gave guys the ability to come back, that the level of play in college baseball would be elevated this year. Did that prove to be the case from where you sit? And I know you have a couple older guys, so maybe did that play out?
I think there's teams throughout the country that really benefited from it because their alignment had kids coming back that fit. I mean, we only had 2 kids that came back that were seniors that got the extra year. You can see quality, you can see maturity on the mound and in the box. And so you add another 200 at bats to a hitter, he's going to be better. They're more physical. They understand the game better. I think the quality of play has been consistently better throughout the country.
Can you give an example or two that come to mind of some teams that really kind of capitalized on that?
I think TCU is the first one that comes to mind because they had so many older kids that returned. They probably have the oldest team in the Big 12, mainly with their position players, but some really quality older pitchers as well.
Thank you.
Dustin, go ahead.
David, what went into start Tristan? I know you guys got to consider a lot of factors, but what ultimately led you to make that decision?
The first thing, I think he has the ability to bounce back better than any of our starters. I think if you balance Pete in front of him, it puts you in a potential of not enough rest. And I like where Tristan is as far as just coming in one day earlier. I also feel like he is our best strike thrower. And when you play a team like Southern that's going to depend on the running game, you've got to be able to be really good at making them earn everything they get. He can minimize pitches and innings. And so it allows him to possibly get deep in games without utilizing a bunch of pitches.
And when you're thinking about your team heading into this regional, and let's say you're making a list of things that you guys got to do to be successful, what do you think would top that list?
I think the first thing is to not look at it as we have to do anything different. I think that's when we get in trouble, when we feel like we've got to drive the run in or we've got to make the pitch. For me, the biggest thing is getting back to slowing the game down. That's when we're our best, and having that mechanism to make sure that, we can just step out of the box, control the box, and that if the game speeds up defensively, that we control it because we have the ball in our hand. And I think those emotions for really a young postseason team, which we are going to be very critical. I don't look at any of our young players as freshmen or COVID freshmen at this time of the year because they have so many at-bats, but they've never played in a postseason game. We have 2 players that are on the active roster that have played in a postseason game, and that's DJ and Zach. And so I don't think it'll be a factor with this team. I told the team earlier today that this offense or the position players, I wasn't with the pitchers at the time, but this group of position players are equipped to play in postseason as well as any team that I've been associated with maybe other than our national championship team in 03, because there were so many returning players that played in Omaha. I also think that when you don't have experience and you're not successful, you utilize that as the reason why you weren't successful. I'm not going to let them go there, and we're not going to go there. I think we're a very good team. But for us, we need to just go out and perform and do what we've been doing and understand and communicate with each other of what potentially the hitting issues are, what type of things we can pick up on the field, and continue to be good communicators on the field.
Sam, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm curious, kind of going off of the question I think Eric asked earlier. With the draft is up from what it was last year, but still half as much as it typically is. I'm curious if you feel like that's a good thing for college baseball in the sense that maybe juniors won't always leave at the first opportunity, or if you think it's kind of a tough thing because there aren't going to be as many opportunities for guys on your team to, play pro ball at some point.
I still don't think that we are in a position to make that decision yet, because I think there's still some aftermath to all of this. I think it's going to be a 2 to maybe 5 year issue where we level the playing field back out per se. We have a logjam right now. Division I players are moving into JC programs, and high school players are going to be overlooked a little bit. So I think it's going to be a continuation of how this all plays out in the next few years to really see how it affects, the quality of play. The quality of play is outstanding, but, to create opportunity, I think, we have a little logjam right now. Who are you with, Sam?
Oh, Dallas Morning News. Sorry. Now, and one follow-up. I'm curious, in your years of coaching, have you ever coached somebody that's been maybe a later round draft pick that's gotten close or even, maybe made the major leagues at any point? And I'm sorry if there's somebody obvious that I just don't know about.
A later round pick that has made it, or
been close to making
on
it.
our team that you're kind of comparing to?
Well, I'm just curious if there's anybody like that that's a tangible example of someone that's been a later round pick that's gotten close or made a run at making a major league roster that you've coached.
Yeah, the first one comes to mind is Lucas Lichty, who was a left-hander, ended up going to the big leagues with Seattle. Tony Cingrani was another left-hander that pitched for us that was pretty much a fastball guy that had to continue to develop his breaking ball. But those are the first two that stand out.
Chip Brown, go ahead.
David, the strikeouts crept in a little bit in the Big 12 tournament. Ivan struggled a bit. What was it? Anything you saw? And what do you do to settle the guys down?
That's a good question. It's valid. First of all, I would say that the stuff was good, but we can't continue to say that it's the stuff because we're going to face great stuff. So we have to be able to understand that. And I think when I look back at the tournament, the best thing for us in the tournament was to not go 0-2 and to allow our guys to get 2 more games of postseason baseball to understand that we need those innings. We need Aaron Nixon to be in that situation, Tanner Witt to be in that situation, as well as some hitters to take a step back and learn from it. The address is really, I think it's always yes, yes, or hit mentality, and just freeing up tension. I think we created some tension, and the kids had a chance to step back this week and almost feel like they forced their at-bats. So I think we had a really good week addressing that and just getting into some conversation and some reps with that. So, we have strikeouts in our lineup, more so than I like. But at the same time, we have production with some of those guys that are striking out. So we just need to understand situational hitting a little better, taking RBIs when they're there, not trying to force it, not get too big. So those are the things we've been addressing all week.
Thanks.
Got time for 2 last ones. Kirk, go ahead.
Yeah, David, is Southern kind of a small ball team? Do they, like to move them up, hit and run, steal bases? And also, I wonder, did Cam Fields pitch against them?
He did pitch against them. He did. We've seen him on film. I don't know if I would consider them such a small ball. I don't think they're going to sacrifice bunt. I think they're going to utilize the bunt for a hit with the push and the drag. And they're 78 of 101. So by percentage, their percentage is right about where you should be. If you're a good running team, I wouldn't call them a plus running team, but they're going to push the envelope because that's what they do. So I think they create with their stolen base and maybe the push drag more so than move them over.
And how'd Cam do against them?
His stuff played. They struggle with the slider, but they'll hunt a fastball, that's for sure.
Thank you.
Last one, Joe Cook, go ahead.
David, on Monday, you talked about, jumping in your pool and making sure you're still having fun with all this. I know winning 40 plus games is fun, but do you think the team is kind of having that mentality too of taking care of business, but also still really enjoying what they've been able to do this year?
Yeah, I definitely think that they're having a blast, and we relay that information to them. This game's hard. It's hard, and it'll beat you up, and so you have to have the ability to have a good time, but at the same time, your good time is enjoying the grind. When we're here, we work our tails off, but it's never in a pressurized situation. It's just it's a constant dialogue between coaches and players and players and players. It's a fun environment in the sense that it's very productive, and I think that's rewarding. And I think that's how you kind of contribute the jumping into the pool. That's just, the enjoyment of winning a championship and having that ability to sit back and go, we accomplished something, and now flip the page and move on.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate the time.
I appreciate it.
Trey, as I hate calling you a freshman, although that's technically what you are, but you've been around for a couple of years. But what do you kind of know about the regional setup and postseason baseball in college? I don't know if you were a big college baseball fan growing up, but what do you kind of know about what these next couple of weeks are supposed to be?
I've grown up obviously always wanted to play college baseball and make it to Omaha. So I understand how the ins and outs and how everything works and the format of everything. So, and coach has also explained it. So I feel like I'm understanding what we have to do and how we have to do and stuff and how to get to Omaha, all that kind of stuff. So I feel prepared, but really just trying to focus on one game at a time and not trying to get caught up in super regionals and Omaha, all that stuff. So trying to make it one game at a time and take it from there.
Since we're going to talk to him in a couple minutes, what has Mike brought to this lineup? What does he do for you guys?
Mike's huge. He's him and EK are probably one of the fastest people in our team, but for sure the country. Him being at the top of the lineup, he finds a lot of ways to get on base and creates a lot of havoc, and he can do a lot for us. And obviously, him and being in the outfield as well helps. And he's been a huge part of this team, and his experience that he's brought has been huge, and he's definitely helping us a lot.
Joe Cook, go ahead.
Trey, when we talked to Coach Pierce on Monday, he said he went home after that TCU series or whichever the last series was and jumped in the pool for celebrating with his uniform on for celebrating the Big 12 title. So he mentioned how this is a grind, you play 57, 60 something games. It's a grind, but how has y'all's team been able to still enjoy that and get through all that work and still have the time to realize, this is supposed to be fun and what we're doing is really enjoyable?
Yeah. At times, I think, a lot of us in the team, get super caught in results. And, for us, it feels like it's, the biggest thing in the world, but, we take a step back and try to realize that, it's just a game and it's not the biggest thing in the world. So, off the field, we try to, separate our baseball and just have fun off the field, hang out with each other, go do stuff off the field that can build that chemistry. So I feel like that's helped a lot. To kind of separate our baseball work and just having fun and building that chemistry off the field.
Dustin, go ahead.
Trey, you've grown up playing in a lot of big games. You know, USA baseball, high school, Banditos on the select circuit. Does that help prepare you for your first postseason at Texas? And you know, does it feel any different? You know, now that you've kind of played so many games as a college shortstop.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, those games and USA, all that stuff has definitely prepared me for this moment like this. You know, a lot of people in the stands. You know, expectations. You only want to win and keep going. Try to win a championship. So all that definitely has helped me. But it's obviously a little different in college. You know, it's my first time, but I feel like that has definitely helped me. I'm excited to see the crowd and obviously other good college teams play, and I'm very excited to see what this weekend's about.
What do you think is the most important thing for you guys as a team to do well to have success this weekend?
I think just playing our game, not trying to get up and try and do too much and try to do something crazy, make all these plays or try to hit, 10 home runs, stuff like that. I think we just play our game and do what we've been doing all year and we'll be fine.
Got time for a couple last ones. Kirk, go ahead.
Yeah, Trey, I can only imagine the excitement you guys have, to try to get in the postseason. I was curious if you had any moments where you watched Texas Longhorn baseball on TV, either in regionals or super regionals or World Series. Do you have any memories of that?
Yeah, I definitely remember, watching them. I think it was 2009, in 2008, 2009. I had friends that came here when they went into Omaha in 2014, maybe, like CJ Nahosa, Tres Barrera, all of them. I grew up watching them. They were playing the Banditos, so I grew up watching them. Obviously, when they went in 18. I watched the regional, super regionals, all that. So I've definitely been able to see see what it's like and how those games have come out and all the things that are going to winning big time games like that. So I think that's going to help also. Is
there one teammate that you have that is just so jacked up they just can't wait for that game to get here tomorrow?
I can't think of one person in particular, but I think we had a teammate today. Everyone's super excited. A lot of us, this is our first regional, or it's our first regional. While we have some older guys too, but everyone's super pumped to be here. We worked all year for this moment, and now it's time to lay it all on the line and see what we got.
Good luck. Thanks.
Thank you.
Last one, Chip, go ahead.
Trey, what do you take from the Big 12 tournament experience that you can apply to the postseason, and what does Zach Zubia mean to this team?
I'll answer that first question first. That tournament I think was good for us. All those games, in my opinion, were playoff atmosphere, playoff type games. So it definitely prepared us for this weekend and hopefully the weeks to come. So I think that was a huge step for us, and just getting our feet wet and having that ability to experience that before having to actually experience it. And then Zach Zubia, he's huge. He's our leader on the team. He's been here the longest. He's been through the most, so he knows exactly everything we're hoping. We try to feel he's already been through that, so he's definitely a help for all of us. And he's definitely guided us in a lot of direction. Obviously, he's our 3-hole hitter because he's one of our best hitters, and he sets that tone. And without him, we wouldn't be where we're at right now.
Thanks, Trey. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Mike, I don't know if we ever asked you this, but why did you decide to grad transfer?
Yeah, it was something that I never really thought about before, but my senior year at St. John's, my head coach had retired and he moved on to coach the Brooklyn Cyclones. So before the season was shortened, he retired, and then after the season, I wanted to make a move. I didn't know if it was going to be into professional baseball or possibly entering the transfer portal. And, I talked to some people that I trust and what they thought was best for me. And it ended up being, heading into the transfer portal and seeing what my options are. And then ultimately Texas was one of the first teams to reach out, and it was a really easy transition for me.
Now, speaking of transitions, as a New Jersey guy, what's one thing you kind of liked about Texas, and what's one thing, whether food or weather, that you're just like, I can't get down with that. That's not me.
What I love most about it down here is the baseball. to be honest. You know, obviously that's why I came down here, and that's why I'm here talking to you guys. But that is my favorite thing about it. I mean, just the whole experience, you know, the whole atmosphere down here, the coaching and everything. The baseball has been unbelievable. Besides that, you know, it's been the last 4 years or my whole life, I've always played in the cold every season, you know, and it is a factor. So not having to play in the cold was really nice this year. But you know, all good things. I got nothing bad to say about Austin, Texas. I don't know if I'd ever live here long term, but it's been a great year, and I plan to definitely come back next year and see the guys and hopefully work out with the guys and everything.
Roger Wallace, go ahead.
Mike, you make the decision to come knowing that, you know, you got high level talent on the team. Nothing's guaranteed. What's it been like? You're in that center field job. You've been a big part of this, and now you're sitting here as the number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, you know, it makes everything make sense. You know what I mean? There was a time when with COVID and everything, a lot of unsureties and stuff. I didn't know what I was doing. You know, I thought after my junior season I would be in professional baseball, and it didn't happen for me. You know, so now it's just like I'm here now, and it all makes sense now. It all makes sense, all the struggles I went through and all the adversities I had to deal with. So it's all good, man. And I'm just, you know, very excited about what's to come. This is the best time of the year for baseball. So.
Kirk, go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, what were the other schools that you maybe even considered transferring to besides Texas before you made your decision?
Yeah, the transfer portal is pretty crazy. Like, you put your name in and then everybody starts calling because, you know, whatever happens, teams need outfielders or pitching or whatever it may be. But I actually talked to Baylor a little bit, and to be honest, I wasn't even in for 24 hours. It was very quick. I got in touch with Texas. Duke Ellis had signed a free agent deal, so they needed a center fielder, and it was easy as that. But like I said, I actually talked to Baylor a little bit. UCLA had reached out, but I didn't necessarily want to go that far out. But it was an easy decision. There wasn't much like, should I do this or should I do that? And that's what made it so easy. It was just, it felt right, and you know, it was just an easy decision for me.
And how familiar were you with Texas baseball tradition and history? I don't know if you've seen them in College World Series or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I was familiar with them as a program and as a team, and Augie Garrido and all that stuff. I used to watch the documentary, and but I had never been to Texas before coming out here. You know, I had never visited, never been out here, none of that. So it was definitely like a leap of faith, you could say. I just came out, wasn't exactly sure what to expect, and it ended up working out really well for me.
Thanks, Mike.
Chip, go ahead.
Mike, what do you like most about this team? What gives you the most confidence about this team? And what I know Tulowitzki's a 13-year MLB guy, 5-time All-Star, but what specifically makes him a good hitting coach?
Yeah, in regards to Tulo, what I would say makes him a great coach is that, you know, a lot of coaches tell you to do things. They say, you know, do this or do that, stay closed, but he could show you it. You know what I mean? He'll grab the bat and get in the cage, and he'll do it for you. So that was the biggest thing, because, you know, a lot of people are visual learners. Some people learn better different ways, but for me personally, and I know a lot of guys, just being able to see somebody do it, because sometimes you hear a coach say something and you're like, how am I supposed to do that? You know, but when you see it with your own 2 eyes, it's a little different. So I've never really had a coach with so much experience that, I mean, he could still really hit. So like, him being able to show us is the biggest thing. And in regards to the team, the work ethic is just unbelievable. I came in here thinking that I had the best work ethic in the world, and then, you know, I saw how these guys get after it, and it elevated me, and I think we all elevate each other. So I would say what's great about this team is the way they work. Not just saying that, I really mean that. You know, these guys are here early, we're here late. So, I mean, every day I think that's what I love most about this team.
Dustin, go ahead.
Mike, speaking of the work ethic, I mean, we've heard from Coach Pierce and Trey about just kind of doing what y'all do. Don't try to do much. Does the work ethic help y'all just treat this like another normal week? Because it seems like you guys just kind of get lost in your work and then you just take it out to the field and go play.
Right. Yeah. It makes the game easier. You know what I mean? Because that fear comes in when you're unprepared. You know what I mean? When you go into a big game and you'll have that fear if you're unprepared, but being prepared and we know we've been putting in this work since September for this. So we're very prepared. So, obviously we know what's at stake. I wouldn't say it's just another week, but we're all ready. And that's when the work comes in handy because, we've been getting after it all year for this weekend, probably, and then going forward from here.
Jake Garcia, go ahead.
Mike, Coach Pierce told us that Tristan was getting the ball in game one. How much confidence does this team have just in his ability to go out and give you guys 6-7 innings and not make the moment too big?
Yeah, I love playing behind Tristan. I think that, when we play with Tristan on the mound, I think the games are about 2 hours and 15 minutes, it feels like. So it's great having him on the mound. I have full trust in him. He's an experienced guy and he throws strikes, doesn't walk too many guys. He goes right at. I love the way he pitches. So, yeah, I think it was the right move. And, I'm excited to get after it. Like I said, I love playing behind Tristan.
Got time for two last ones. Nick Moyle, go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, first off, just from one Jersey guy to another, I got to know pork roll, egg, and cheese or breakfast taco.
Pork roll, egg, and cheese all the way.
Not a question. Good answer.
No questions.
And, curious, when you first got here, who were some of the guys that you kind of hit it off with that kind of brought you in and made you feel like you were part of the family?
Yeah, it's a good question, man. Zubia, that's what Zubia is great for. He was calling me before I even got here. And then once I showed up right away, like the first day I got in, he's just a great kid. That's him. And then going forward, I would say me and TY probably spend the most time together. We go out to eat a lot and talk about a lot of things and stuff. So, but initially I would say Zubia, and then as time went on, me and TY started, spending a lot of time together. But we're a close group, but those guys really, made it a point to make me feel at home. So I appreciate them for that a lot.
Thanks, Mike.
Danny, close us out.
Mike, you've played in a regional before at St. John's, and I'm kind of wondering, what did you learn in that experience? I don't know if you played in 17 or if it was just 18.
18, yeah.
And then, can you take anything from that and apply it to these next few weeks?
Yeah, it's a good question. We actually talked about it a little bit today. And, I told the guys that I've come into a regional as a 3 and a 4 seed before, and what I had to say was that, you come in with your back against the wall as a 3 and a 4 seed, but at the same time, you come in hungry, so when we went down to Clemson and, maybe we didn't say it, but we all had that feeling like, we're at Clemson, we're kind of at the disadvantage here. But at the same time, we're like, this is a great opportunity for us to take it from them. So I was just giving them that perspective as being the 3 or 4 seed coming into a big school like that or whatever. And then just from playing in the regionals is what I learned is how important the first game is. And you could see that in the Big 12 tournament as well. You lose that first game and it's tough. It's really tough to come back because of the layout, the double elimination, and like how, ultimately you'll have to beat the winning team twice at the end, which is just hard to do. And then on the 4th day, or it's going to be your 4th or 5th game by the time you have to close out. So I was just stressing the importance of the first game. You never want to look ahead, but especially that game tomorrow is huge, no matter who we're playing. Because in the regional, it's the way it's laid out. It's just very important to win that game. So that's what I've learned from playing in this tournament before.